Most parents think the main risk of social media is what strangers do to their kids online. But here's what the research is quietly showing us. The real damage is often coming from the app itself, not from predators lurking in the shadows. Your child's brain is literally being designed to crave the next notification. Every like, every comment, every red dot on their screen triggers a tiny hit of dopamine, the same chemical that makes gambling addictive. And the engineers who built these apps? They knew exactly what they were doing. They call it engagement. We call it addiction, but most of us don't really see it happening in real time. Picture this. Your teenager sits down to do homework. They say it'll just take a quick peek at their phone. 40 minutes later, their eyes are glued to their screen. They've sent 4 angry texts. They've compared their life to 12 different friends, and they feel simultaneously empty and exhausted. They barely remember what they opened their phone for in the first place. Sound familiar? Here's the part most parents miss. It's not that social media is inherently evil. It's that these platforms are engineered to exploit the exact vulnerabilities that already exist during adolescence. Teenagers are naturally more sensitive to social rejection, more focused on their appearance, more concerned with fitting in. Social media doesn't create those instincts. It amplifies them to an extreme that a developing brain was never meant to handle. When your daughter sees a photo of her classmate at a party she wasn't invited to, her brain doesn't just notice it. It spirals. The amygdala, which processes emotion, lights up. She starts catastrophizing. She wonders what's wrong with her. She checks her followers. She compares herself. And all of this happens in the span of 30 seconds, while her prefrontal cortex, the part that should be saying, "Wait, this is silly," is still under construction. It won't be fully developed until she's in her mid-20s. This is why we're seeing skyrocketing rates of anxiety and depression in kids who grew up with Instagram and TikTok. And it's not random. The studies are connecting the dots. Heavy social media use correlates with lower self-esteem, sleep problems, increased loneliness, and genuine mental health struggles. Some kids are checking their phones 200 times a day. 200. That's not curiosity anymore. That's compulsion. But here's where I want to be honest with you. Telling your kid to just delete their apps doesn't work. Not anymore. Social media isn't optional for teenagers the way it was for us. For them, it's where friendships live. It's how they coordinate. It's how they feel connected to their peer group. Asking a teenager to quit social media is like asking them to skip lunch at school. Sure, they could do it, but they'd be completely isolated. So the question isn't how to eliminate social media from your kid's life. The question is how to change the relationship they have with it. Let me give you a real example. I worked with a family where the 16-year-old daughter was struggling. She was anxious, she wasn't sleeping well, and her mood had become unpredictable. Her parents had tried the usual stuff, setting screen time limits, taking her phone away at night, lecturing her about being addicted. Nothing stuck. The fighting just got worse, and the anxiety got deeper. When we actually looked at her phone use, here's what we found. She wasn't using social media to connect with close friends. She was using it to compare. She was following influencers, celebrities, people she'd never met. She was scrolling through highlight reels and feeling like her own life was inadequate. She was doom scrolling, that endless scrolling through negative news and comments. And late at night, when she couldn't sleep, she'd scroll more, which made the sleep worse, which made the anxiety worse. It became a spiral. The breakthrough wasn't punishment. It was awareness. We helped her see exactly what was happening in her own mind and body. We didn't take her phone away. We changed what she was following, who she was comparing herself to, and how she was using the platform. We set boundaries not through force, but through understanding. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved. Within a month, her anxiety had noticeably decreased. Within 3 months, she was using social media, yes, but in a fundamentally different way. She was connecting with actual friends. She was sharing genuinely. She wasn't comparing. And here's the kicker, she did this because she understood why it mattered, not because her parents were forcing her. This is what real protection looks like. And it starts way earlier than you probably think. If you're recognizing yourself in this conversation, if you're noticing that your kid's mood seems tied to their phone, that their self-esteem seems fragile, or that you're constantly fighting about screen time, the free chapter I've put in the description of this video walks through the exact strategies that actually change this dynamic without turning your home into a battle zone. It's based on what's working with real families right now. The link is below, and it takes about 5 minutes to grab it. Now, back to what you need to know. The foundation of protecting your child's mental health on social media is understanding the psychology of these apps. They're built on something called variable rewards. Your kid never knows when they're going to get a like, a funny comment, or engagement. Sometimes they post something and get nothing. Sometimes they get 100 likes. That unpredictability is what keeps them coming back. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Parents often think if they just explain this to their kid, they'll get it. They'll stop. But that's not how compulsion works. Understanding that casinos use variable rewards doesn't make someone stop gambling. The same principle applies here. What actually works is helping your child develop awareness and agency. That means helping them notice what they're feeling before they open the app, what they feel while they're on it, and what they feel after. Are they reaching for their phone because they're bored? Because they're anxious? Because they genuinely want to connect with a friend? Or are they escaping something? Here's a conversation many parents have never had with their kids, but should. Instead of, "You're on your phone too much," try something like, "I've noticed you open Instagram whenever you seem stressed. What's happening there? What do you feel when you do that?" You might be surprised. Many kids will tell you they're trying to regulate their emotions. They're using social media the way someone else might use food or TV. It's a coping mechanism. Once you understand that, you can help them find better coping mechanisms. And here's the thing, they'll actually want to, because deep down, most kids know that scrolling doesn't make them feel better long term. It makes them feel worse. Another critical piece is sleep. I cannot overstate how connected sleep deprivation is to anxiety and depression in teenagers. And social media is one of the biggest threats to sleep. The light from screens suppresses melatonin production, so their body doesn't realize it's supposed to wind down. But more than that, the content itself is activating. Seeing something upsetting, comparing themselves to others, worrying about how their posts are performing, all of this keeps their nervous system alert when it should be calming down. This is why one of the most protective things you can do is help your child establish a phone-free sleep zone. Not a punishment, a boundary, an agreement. From 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., phones charge outside the bedroom. Why? Because your sleep is precious, and it's the foundation of your mental health. Most teenagers will accept this if it's framed as protection rather than control. Let me also be clear about something. Comparison on social media is not a small thing. It's a core driver of anxiety and depression. When your child sees someone else's vacation, achievement, or relationship, their brain isn't thinking, "Oh, that's nice for them." Their brain is thinking, "Why not me? What's wrong with me?" Psychologists call this the comparison gap. And here's what makes it worse. Social media has taught kids to curate themselves. They're not just comparing their real life to someone else's highlight reel anymore. They're also performing their own highlight reel. They're wondering if their post is good enough, if they look okay, if people will like it. It's exhausting. Many kids feel like they're living two lives, the real one and the performed one. And the performed one is getting more attention. Part of protecting their mental health is helping them see this clearly. Help them notice when they're caught in comparison. Help them unfollow accounts that make them feel bad. Help them follow accounts that make them feel inspired, seen, or genuinely happy. This is not as simple as it sounds. Most kids won't do this on their own because they feel like they should like the accounts everyone else likes. But if you help them question it, they often want to change. Now, here's something else that's critical. The way you talk about social media matters enormously. If you're constantly expressing fear, social media is ruining your brain. These apps are evil. You're addicted. Your child is going to become defensive. They're going to dismiss your concerns. They might hide their use from you. They might sneak their phone into their room at night. You're creating an adversarial relationship, and that's the exact opposite of what protects kids. Instead, approach it with curiosity and partnership. I've read that these apps are designed to keep people engaged. I'm wondering if you've noticed that in your own experience. What do you think? This invites them into the conversation. This makes you an ally instead of an enemy. And when kids feel like their parent is genuinely trying to understand rather than judge or control, they're much more likely to be honest about what's really going on. One more thing that protects mental health: real-world connection. This is non-negotiable. Kids who have strong offline friendships, who are doing activities they genuinely enjoy, who have family time where everyone isn't glued to a screen, these kids are significantly more resilient to the mental health impacts of social media. Not immune, but more resilient. Why? Because they have perspective. They have their sense of self rooted in real relationships and real achievement. When they get a notification that someone didn't like their post, or when they see someone else succeeding, it doesn't shatter them because their identity isn't living on the internet. This is harder now than it used to be. Kids have less unstructured time. They have fewer opportunities to just be bored and figure out what they like. But this is exactly why it matters more. If your kid doesn't know how to be happy without social media, they're vulnerable. So, what does this look like practically? Family dinners without phones. Actually in the same room, no devices. Maybe once a week to start, maybe more if it feels good. Encouraging real-world activities and friendships. Noticing if your kid seems isolated and gently inviting them to try something: a sport, a club, a part-time job, volunteer work. Anything that builds their offline identity. And here's the hard part for many of us. We have to model this. We have to show our kids what a healthy relationship with technology looks like. If they watch you constantly checking your phone, if they see you comparing yourself to others online, if they notice you getting anxious about your own social media, they're going to replicate that. Our kids don't listen to what we say nearly as much as they watch what we do. I know this is a lot. I know it feels overwhelming. Modern parenting already feels impossible, and now you're supposed to navigate social media too. But here's what I want you to know. You don't have to get this perfect. You're not trying to eliminate social media from your kid's life. You're trying to help them develop a conscious, intentional relationship with it instead of an unconscious, compulsive one. The kids who are most protected mentally are not the ones whose parents banned their phones. They're the ones whose parents stayed engaged, stayed curious, and helped them build awareness. The ones who know how these apps work and can make choices about how to use them. The ones who have strong offline lives and strong relationships with their parents. The ones who know their parents see them and understand the complexity of growing up in this world. That relationship, that understanding, that engagement from you, that's what protects them. And it starts with a conversation, not a lecture. Not a punishment. A real conversation where you're genuinely trying to understand what your kid's relationship with social media actually looks like. What's one thing you've noticed about how social media affects your kid's mood or behavior? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to hear what you're seeing in your own family, because every kid is different, and sometimes the most powerful thing is knowing you're not alone in this.